in the welcome page.xaml file, I'm going to add a button control. And then inside this button control, let's set the text property of this button to sign in. Alright. Now we need to move towards the page models folder. And as I already told you that for every page, we have a page model. So here in the page models folder, we have created this welcome page model class. Just open this class. And there, first of all, just make this class to public. Then inside this class, I'm going to add a property of type command. Well, in order to create a property in C#, you have to use the snippet that is prop and hit tab. And this will automatically create a C# property for you. Now, let's change the type of this property to command. And then we also need to resolve the namespace of this command because this command type comes from this Xamarin Forms namespace. So we need to resolve this namespace here. Alright. Now let's name this command to sign in command. Don't worry about the initialization of this property. We will initialize this property within few seconds. But first, we need to use the data binding in our XAML file. So let's jump back to the welcome page.xaml file. And there, inside this button control, I'm going to add a command property. Then I'm going to add binding expression. And then the name of our property that we have defined in the page model or view model. So let's use this sign in command here. Now let's go back to our page model and initialize our command. In order to initialize this command property, let's add a constructor of this welcome page model by using the snippet that is ctor and hit tab. And this shortcut method will create a constructor of this page model. Now in this constructor, we set sign in command equals new command object. Now this command has some overloads like this action that takes some object. Right now I'm interested to use the action without any parameters. So I'm going to add an action here and name it sign in. Right after that, you will see an error, and that's because we have not created our function yet. So let's create a function by using the IntelliSys feature that comes along with the Wheel Studio. You can also create this function manually. Now inside this method, we will put all the logic. So if you ever worked with the button click event, then you know that all the logic of the button will go inside the button click event. Similarly, when we work with the MVVM, then all the logic of the button will go inside this command action method. Alright, now let's add a breakpoint with this method and let's try to run this application. And when I press this button, then you will notice that no call goes to this breakpoint, which means there is something we are missing. So let me tell you that whenever our view talk to our view model, then we have to use the binding context. So let's go to the welcome page code behind file. And there, let's add a binding context equals new welcome page model. And just resolve the namespace for this page model. We can also set the binding context in the XAML file. But right now, let's stick with this approach because later, when we will work with the Fresh MVVM, we don't need to write the binding context in the code behind file because Fresh MVVM will automatically do everything for us. Now let me run this application again, and this time if I press this button, then you will see that the call goes to the breakpoint, which means we have successfully interacted with the button control via commands. Alright, now in the next module, we will try to pass the parameters from our XAML page to this page model sign in method. Alright, see you in the next module.